Hey everyone, it's me, Infinite Designer. Today, we are going to create this realistic paper animation in alight motion. So let's begin. So first of all, I have this table image. Now zoom in this image like this. Now I will add a null layer. Now pair this table layer with null. Now add keyframe at 0 seconds and add another keyframe at 4 seconds. Now animate the table image like this by moving null. Now don't make any graph in this animation as of now. We will add a graph later, but not now. Now to make a photo frame, add a square and make a rectangle like this. Now add another square and place it like this. Now add your image and place onto the square layer. Now create a clipping mask like this. Set the color of the rectangle to off-white. Now select all three layers and make a group. Now we have to animate this layer. So first go to starting point and drag this layer out of the frame. Now add a keyframe at 0 and 1 seconds and drag the image in at 1 seconds. Make this type of graph here. Now add another keyframe at seconds and drag the image down. Now add another keyframe at 4 seconds and bring the image to this side like this. Now go to rotation options and add a keyframe at 1 seconds. Rotate the image at 1 seconds. Add another keyframe at 2 seconds and rotate the image on the opposite side. Now add keyframe at 4 seconds and rotate the image like this. Now go to Scaling option and add keyframes at 1 and 2 seconds. Now scale the image down at 2 seconds. Now add another keyframe at 4 seconds and zoom out the image more. Now go to last keyframe and pair this image with null layer. After pairing with null, you can notice that the image is little bit off placed than we previously placed. So go to every keyframes and place them accordingly. Now make this type of graph in the null animation. Now add an effect called Wave Warp onto the image. Now set the spacing to around 3 points. Now add a keyframe at 1 second and set the angle to around 10 at this keyframe. Now add a keyframe at 2 seconds and set the angle to around 60. Now add 2 keyframes in spacing at 2 and 4 seconds. Now decrease the spacing to 0 at last keyframe. Now add another effect called Raster Extrude. Now first, decrease the depth to the lowest value. Now set the light source to flat. Now add keyframes in orientation and set the B value to around 25 at 1 seconds. Now add another keyframe at 2 seconds and set the B to around 35. Now add another keyframe at 4 seconds and set the B value to 0. Now we have to add shadows. So enable the shadow and set the size to max. Place this shadow like this. Adjust the opacity in such a way that it looks like it is far from the table. Now add keyframes in size and decrease the size at 2 seconds. Now add another keyframe at 4 seconds and set the size to around 10. Now add similar keyframes in positions and place the shadow nearest to the paper because now paper is falling on the table. Now we are going to create the page curl animation. For that, add an effect called page curl. Now first, increase the progress and adjust the radius. Now set the back color to normal and pick a dark white color. Adjust the specularity little bit. Adjust the back shadow like this. add a black front shadow also. Now add keyframes at 3.15 and 4 seconds. Now set the progress to 0 at 3.15 seconds. Now go to the last second of the video and add a keyframe. Now decrease the progress little bit like this. Now go to Bounce Graph and select the Random Bounce Graph. Now first, bring this white handle to the middle. Now drag this first yellow handle to the left. Now adjust the middle yellow handle little bit. The page flicker animation is ready. Now add a null layer at 3 seconds. Pair the first null with second null. Now add keyframes at starting and ending point of null 2. Now drag the null towards left at last keyframe. And your continuous moving animation is ready. Now to make it more realistic, add a motion blur effect onto the image layer. Now to create a depth, add a rectangle and bigger it. Now add a circle and place it like this. Now add Gaussian blue effect and make it blur. Make the rectangle black. Now select both the layer and use last masking option to mask. Now decrease the opacity and the depth is ready. So we have created this realistic paper flying animation very easily in alight motion. Subscribe now to learn more amazing animation in alight motion.